Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Monday again. It's Monday Marathon Day, Monday Marathon Madness. We have a few boxes, or 2 boxes and a microwave that we've rescued from the charity shop this week. I think we're up to episode 38, and each week I collect this e-waste to save it if I can. We will test things. We will hopefully be able to save as much as possible. I really struggled this week to pick up stuff to buy, to flip. Like each week I go there and I may have a little challenge with myself to go into the main shop part and buy something and, you know, flip it and make a profit. I walked around and round and didn't find anything. Now at the back, holding some CDs up, with this cute little bookends. They're little model cars. I don't think it's homemade. It's probably a made in China thing. I think that one's lost a headlight. But just on 2 pieces of wood, just bookends, and they were $3. I'll get 10 for that. They're cute, so we did find something to flip, but it was a challenge this week. However, I picked up some stuff out of their bins. Yes, I usually check their rubbish bins and the scrap metal bin in particular, rather than it just all go out to the transfer station and dumped as scrap metal where the charity shop don't get anything for it anyway. I always have a look, and I find often things that I can sell. And it's nice to keep them in circulation. This is a willow tin. Willow being, I'll show you the trademark, most of you in Australia will recognise it. Quite well known for making kitchenware and tin items in the 50s and 60s. I might even go back before the 50s. This is just a biscuit tin, but it's quite a nice one. Rural scene on the front, way too good for scrap metal. I should be able to get, I reckon I can nearly get $10 for that. We'll at least get 5, but I'll be trying at 10 first. Also in the scrap metal bins, I got, I think this, I don't remember if this was in the scrap metal bins or not, because it is technically e-waste. It's an electrical fry pan, an old Sunbeam. I have a feeling it was in the bin. Doesn't matter. Either way, I won't be selling this one. The aluminium isn't very healthy to cook in. It's an older model, much older. It even has a noisy lid and a Bakelite plug. So I'm not even going to try and test it. There's a fair chance it works. It probably will outlast the new ones today. But there's quite a substantial lump of aluminium there. The heating element is moulded into the base, so you can't access that. So I'm not even going to take the feet off or the handle. The whole thing can just go as iron aluminium. I'll get a pretty good return on that because it's quite heavy. The lid is worth taking the knob off and the little piece there, and the rest can go as clean aluminium. I must check to see if these actually sell on eBay, being a vintage one. I know some people do use them not for cooking, just for warming things, such as in chemistry applications, or if you're doing precious metal recovery and you need to warm a solution, people just use these as a hot plate. So maybe I won't be so rash in scrapping that. We might check that out before I do, because this one is actually in pretty good condition for its age. And the original cord is actually good. There's no damage to the plug. Quite often these cords get burn marks in them and the plugs are quite brittle, but this one actually is quite usable. A little bit of a chip to one side. I'm not going to sell it as a cooking utensil, but we may look into selling it for other purposes before we scrap it. If we do scrap it, nothing will really go to e-waste, and nothing, or other than the plugs, and nothing will go into the rubbish. This tin box, I think, was destined for their scrap metal bin as well, or maybe they were going to price it into the shop, but I was just out the back when they sort of unpacked it, and it got... I'm not sure if you guys could hear that noise through the camera, but it sounded like a tree fell over or a branch. So let's go and have a look. It seemed to be coming from this side of the house, so we'll go through the fernery, and there's a big gum tree in the neighbour's place behind that tree just in front of us. I'll have to peer over the fence. So it's a decent tree. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like a branch has come down. And there it is. Crashed down. Now it's a bit windy today, but not really blowy. But that majestic large tree has just suddenly dropped a branch. Big gardens next door, so it's fortunate there's no house and no car or no people under that. But there you go. Some of these big Australian gums can just drop branches out of the blue. I think that's probably what they call a ghost gum or a lemon-scented gum. Yeah, so it's shed one of its branches. All right, we better get back to work. Now, where were we? Oh, we're looking at this blue toolbox. It was kind of handed to me out the back. I don't think they wanted it in the shop, and technically I suppose it's, well, it's not really e-waste, but it's part of a power tool. That's in excellent condition. It's is it Black & Decker or a Shure or something? It's not actually branded here, but I think that actually is designed just to go on the end of your vintage electric drill and turn it into a power saw. There's also a bracket here, cast aluminium bracket, possibly for mounting the something on a bench top. Another little bracket there, like a fence for the saw. A couple of other bits and pieces. So, yeah, look, we can sell that for sure. And given that it was, well, I hope it wasn't destined for the scrap metal bin, but just the metal box alone with a kind of hammer tone blue finish is excellent. We should get about $20 for that. So we didn't do so well with buying stuff, but we actually did pretty well with acquiring stuff that we can sell. Let's get into the electrical and start testing some things. Before we power anything up, we'll finish looking at what we scored. We have a small size microwave here. It's a Sharp and it's quite heavy, so hopefully we can sell that. Hopefully it's clean inside. We have a blender. What's this? Is a Breville or something? Homemaker. So it's a Kmart or Coles brand. Pretty basic looking blender, just 2-speed plus a pulse. Here's the jug for it, nice heavy glass jug. So that certainly looks usable as long as it works and tests safe. Quite a heap of cords in here with electrical stuff. We have clock radio, which is good. They always sell quite well, although I do keep them pretty cheap. That's a kind of a vintage one. It's going to have a red LEDs. That's a more modern one, a Philips one, probably large number format on that one. So they're going to be okay. Hopefully they work fine. There's another iron. We've been selling lots of irons lately. The base on that looks pretty good. It's nice and clean. It's a Sunbeam. Oh, it's a bit dirty around the top, but we'll test that out. And we might get 10 being a Sunbeam. The cheaper brands we just put 5 on. Oh, something else I got out of their scrap metal bin. A little tomahawk or a camper's axe. I don't know if it's got a brand on it. It's been a little bit flared at the top. Someone's used it as a wedge and hit on the top with a hammer. But timber handle, the rubber grip's a bit perished. But we might be able to glue that back so it looks a bit better. But yeah, that's too good to go for the scrap bin. We shall probably get $10 to $20 for that, unless if we find a brand on it, we might get a bit more. So that was a nice find. Not sure what this is. Some sort of, oh, okay, it's a Philips charging dock for an iPad. I gather it's like a clock radio as well as a stand. So it's probably a radio, may even have light up numbers somewhere behind it. So it might only be a $5 item. Another little clock radio, just a tiny one this time. And what's this? I have no idea. Oh, a little, I think it's a Bluetooth speaker. They look like speakers in the ends. JBL. We'll have to check that out and see if it works. Oh, it's rechargeable and it's got power in it. Well, it did have. Flat, yep. So we'll have to see if, I don't know if we've got a charger for it, but we can check that out. The parenting garden, what's this? Is that like a baby monitor? I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'll check that out in a minute. And we have, a few other bits I got out of their scrap metal bin. Some of these, I think they're jelly molds. There's quite a lot of them. They're little tin forms. Maybe they're for, I think they're probably for jellies or little cakes or something. Not sure, but they'll sell. They're too good for scrap. And we've got just a bit of heavy aluminium. I only really grabbed it because it's quite heavy aluminium. I don't have the bottom pan for it to go in it. It probably would have been like a steamer with a lid, but they can just go in my aluminium bin. I'll get something for it. And the last thing in here is a little watch or desk clock. and it's got Anandron. I don't know what Anandron is. Advertising, obviously, of some sort. And the clock's actually working. The little watch thing is actually working. And it's actually a pretty well the right time. So how about that? If nothing else, we might be able to use that little timepiece in something else. But we could probably sell this little desk piece as a paperweight or something for $5 anyway with a working watch in it. That's all that's in our tub. Now, we didn't open this. Oh, that's a charger pack. I'm assuming that's for this Bluetooth speaker. It says Philips. No, that's JBL. What was Philips? Oh, this one was Philips. So this must have the power supply for that. We don't have one for that thingo, but I should be able to find one. Depends what voltage it is. Rightio, let's clear the desk and we'll start testing things. So let's start with the biggest thing on the bench to make some room. And when I say big, it's actually quite a tiny microwave. I mean, you can see by my hand size, it's only tiny. I don't know how many litres it is. It's a Sharp brand, I think I mentioned before. Let's plug it into the appliance tester. It comes to life. We'll make sure we've got an earth. Screw down here should do it. Yes, so it passes the test. Inside, it does have the plate. It's a bit dirty and kind of, I don't know what you call it. It looks rather faded. A little rusty. Oh, it's not really rusty. It's just a bit stained. But it'd still be a good one in a shed or something. So let's hope it works. You may remember I did a video recently on microwaves, and I have two of them that need parts. I don't think this one will be any good as a donor because it's too small for the bracket for the door catch. And there's a fair chance the transformer or magnetron are going to be a totally different size because it's, I don't know how many watts it is. Can't see a label. All right, I'm going to get a glass of water and we'll see if it works. Hopefully it does and we can just flip it really quickly, even for $10. Be handy in someone's shed. Okay, I have procured a glass of water. Let's give it a burl. Hopefully we get some heat. Let's try it for a minute. How do we do that? 1 minute. Start. It sounds good. Is the turntable moving? Yep, that's all right. The light's on, the fan's going. It sounded like the magnetron fired up. Let's see if the water gets hot. Okay, how did we go? Oh yeah, it's quite hot. That's actually very hot. So a minute in a microwave should get a glass of water pretty hot. That's actually too hot to hold. So excellent. It works. It tests safe. Just needs a little bit of a better clean inside. I think it'll clean up okay. Oh, it is rusty along the top, but only a little bit. I think we'll sell it just for $10 as a shed microwave. Some guy will love it just to warm up his coffees or to heat up his cup of soups or whatever he does with it. So I think we'll try that. And if we don't get $10 for it, I will scrap it because I get $5 for the transformers and we have magnets in the magnetron and there's good value for me, but I'd rather sell it complete if I can. So just a quick wipe over, a little bit of a wipe out inside, and that can go to the shop. The next biggest thing is this old Sunbeam, and it is in pretty good condition. It looks like it's hardly had any use. It would have to date to I reckon the late 60s, early 70s. I mean, you've got to go back a long way to get Bakelite plugs, which are made in Australia. It's HPM. So I'd say 60s. Let's make sure it's safe, because even if someone's going to use it to warm up whatever, something not related to cooking, it's going to need to be safe. So we'll plug it into the appliance tester, turn that on. Importantly, we need to see an earth on this. I'm not getting an earth reading. No, it's not showing an earth. It should here. No, we haven't got an earth on the... That's interesting. Okay, so it's not safe. This is probably, it may have a wire off in here, an earth wire. There might be some corrosion, but we should get an earth off that bracket. Might be worth just opening that up and having a look, because I'm sure this will be fine if it earths through here. As for it actually working, our lights come on our heat controller, and it tests safe as far as the appliance tester goes other than the earth. And is it warming up? Yep, I'm not touching it, but I can feel it warming up. It's definitely radiating some heat, so it does work, but I need to check the earth wire on that. Well, let's do that now. All right, the most likely spot and the easiest spot to check is the plug end, because this socket end's a little bit more involved to get into, and I suspect if there's a wire off, it'll be in this end. So we shall remove or dismantle the plug. Easy on these old Bakelite ones, a couple of screws, and they come open very easily. And we'll see if the earth wire has been disconnected. No, it's connected there, but it may have a break in it. But they all look pretty securely attached. It's the old rubber wiring. It's looks in reasonable condition for its age, but you do have to be very careful with this old wiring. So it looks like we've got to get into this end and see if we have an earth in here. And haha, there we go. The earth wire is just floating in midair. So the two prongs are alright, they're still attached. Again, the rubber insulation looks a little dodgy, but I think it's okay. The main thing is we've got to get this earth wire properly attached. So I'm not sure what was holding that. One of the screws through the back was holding it. So that's got to press round into that slot there. That's about in the right spot. I'll put this back through and feed. We have to put these back over. This one. Excuse the dogs in the background if you can hear them. They're still a bit jumpy from when that branch fell down. Oh, that's the wrong way. Goes that way. And we've got to put these ones on. Oh, no, that goes through separately. That'll be the shorter one. Go through the loop of wire. No, it needs to be the longer one. Shorter one goes at the front. That should have gone through the loop of wire. And we'll check it with the multimeter before we power it back up again. Do that nice and firm. I think that one might have been a little loose. Don't remember, but that should have clamped the earth wire nicely. So now we can just put the rest of the pieces on. Okay, that's all back together. Let's get the meter and just see if we have an earth now. Okay, we're on continuity test. Now the only reason we won't have an earth is if there's a break in the wire somewhere. So we can go from the earth pin on the plug to here. Yep, beautiful. So now we can put this back together, plug it back into the electric fry pan and make sure that it passes on the appliance tester then as far as the earth goes, but we should be good. All right, we'll power it back up now through the appliance tester and see if we have an earth. And it shows a pass. I don't show you this machine often, but if I connect this to the metal now, you can see that it shows a pass along the top line there, and it passes as a class 1 and a class 2. This is a class 1 item which needs an earth. So there we go. If I take this off, it says fail for the earth. So, whoop, I've just spilt the water and it's still hot. Okay, don't leave glasses of hot water around on your workbench to be knocked over. Water and electricity really don't mix. I was going to say, if you don't have an appliance tester and you want to check the earths on your appliances, you can use your multimeter on continuity mode and just go from the pin of the plug to the frame, and you should have continuity. As such, if your meter doesn't have a beeper, you can go to the ohms reading, and any cheap ohms meter will do it, and it should show pretty well a direct short or an extremely low resistance. We have 0.4 ohms. So important to test earths on these things, because what happens if you have a short in here, whether it's the element shorts out or you have a live wire in the controller here that shorts to a metal bracket, the whole thing becomes live, and if you don't have an earth connection in your plug, it will stay live, and the moment you touch it, you become live, and that will lead to you becoming dead, probably. So you've got to have an earth on any appliance that has a lot of metal. If it's got an earth pin on the plug, it may still be a double insulated appliance if it's mostly plastic with an earth pin. They don't always run an earth wire, but you can usually tell from the cord if it's running an earth wire. And the double square symbol will tell you if it's a double insulated appliance, and this one of course hasn't got one because it is a class 1 appliance. So there we go, we've fixed the earth on that. We can now sell it as a safe unit, but as I said earlier, not that safe to cook in, but perfectly fine if you want to warm up some concoction in your shed, or even if you want to have I don't know, if you want to melt wax. You can do anything in these sort of things. They're a pretty good heater. They've got a good heat control. This one works fine. We'll probably try and get about $20 for it. I did have a look online, and some of them were selling for a reasonable amount of money plus postage. So we'll see how we go with $20 on this one. Next thing to check is this blender, and it appears to be pretty good other than a bit dusty. The cord was okay, there's no damage to the cord. And I do have a family member that wants one of these, and it doesn't matter if it's a rough one because it's just going to be used for crushing up eggshells for garden use and compost stuff for the compost. So as long as this works, we'll keep this in circulation. I won't be selling it though. But all right, it passes on the appliance tester. I think this is a class 1 item, and yes, the pass on the earth is good. Let's try the machine on M. I think should be pulse. I don't know what M stands for. Momentary, perhaps. 1, 2. It smells a bit as if it hasn't been used for a while, and the dust would probably support that theory. But it seems to go okay, and it tests safe. So this can be used for our purposes, so it won't be scrapped. If I didn't need it here, I'd probably just put $10 on it, because someone may well buy it for the same reason. I don't think it's a good enough one to ask much more, because it's only a cheap brand. It's a little dirty. Fortunately, I don't even have to clean it now, but it will be saved from e-waste. So while we're at it, on things that heat, although that doesn't heat, but the last thing did, we'll check the iron. So the cord looks okay. These cloth covered cords sometimes go pretty furry, but unless there's some damage, they're really okay. It's an older unit. It doesn't have the sleeve on the pins, so it's probably about 20 years old or a little bit more. But Sunbeam were a better than average brand. Let's plug that in the appliance tester. Again, we're going to need to see an earth because it has a metal component, and that passes. The light is on, and it's getting warm. Yes, so that's good. All we need to do with that one is give it a little bit of a clean up. It's a bit grubby around the top here, but there's no damage, so that's fine. We should be able to get $10 for a Sunbeam iron when it's cleaned up. Okay, time for clock radio testing. We've got a plague of them today, and I've turned the main ring light off, that's why it's a bit darker here, because it'll be easier to see the numbers with it being a bit darker, and also the ring light causes enormous interference on radios in my shed, and we want to see if the radios work. So these just have your double pins. They don't have an earth, and I just take these plugs for granted because it's all I've ever known, but I appreciate you guys from the States and Europe and other parts of the world. They probably look pretty odd to you. The earth pin is normally the bottom one on these ones, so this is a double insulated appliance, doesn't have an earth, and all double insulated appliances, I'm not sure if this is a worldwide thing, but certainly here they have a double square on them. So if you see a double square, even if you have an earth pin on the plug, you don't necessarily have an earth wire to the appliance. Sometimes they just leave the pin on the plug as a stability thing. So if you're trying to check for an earth on something that's double insulated, you won't be able to find it. Mainly because there's no metal on the appliance to actually test. Sometimes there is a little bit. All right, let's power this one up. Looks like we have green digits, but there's just got blank lines at the moment. I guess we have to set it somehow. Oh, there we go. That's gone to radio frequency, and it sounds like the radio is going to work fine. Tuning. Yeah, we know we're near a main station here. And I don't really need to find one. I know it's going to work. I think it'll do a search. If we hold the wire up, it might find something. Okay, we have a station there, so that's fine. Turn the radio off. And, oh, we've gone to a different... We went to AM. Let's turn the volume down. All right, so all the functions seem to work. Not sure how we get back to the clock. There we go, and we've got to set the clock numbers somehow. Oh, there we go, I can set the numbers. So that works fine. Let's just make sure there's no battery in it. No, the battery compartment's empty. So that's fine. That's a good one. Philips, good numbers. Radio works fine. We could probably get $10 for that one. Just needs to clean up. Now the little tiny one here is what brand is this? It's Audio Sonic. Check if the no battery's in there. And again, we should be right to go on this, just needs a bit of a clean. Let's power it up. We've got a nice bright red LED display this time. And it looks like we can set the numbers okay. Radio. Very noisy. Can we get to FM? Oh, that was FM. That sounds terrible. Oh, there we go. We went on the station properly. Okay, that's a good one. Well, I'll probably just put 5 on that one, just because it's a much cheaper unit, but it just needs a quick clean up. $5 there. This one looks a bit older. It looks more 1990s to me, and the plug confirms that. It doesn't have the sleeves on the pins. I'd say we've got red LED numbers again. We still have FM radio, so it's not back to the 70s sometime. I think FM came in around the late 70s here. So the clock's flashing. We can set the time okay, I think. How do we hold both buttons down? There we go. So that's going to work fine. More important is the radio. Here's our switch here. Sounds like it's going to work fine. So it took a while to find a channel, but it does work. It's just very poor reception on this one. But anyway, it's a goer. It just needs to clean up. We might get $10 for that. It's verging on retro. I'd say probably 1980s maybe, but that's okay. It works fine. Beautiful. Another one, just a quick clean and a price. Now what have we got left? We have this thing, which I think was a Bluetooth speaker. It has a USB. I presume that's a charge. Oh no, it's got a charge port here. It's an older socket, but I'll have one of those here. I might just charge it up, because when we turn it on, it did come to life, but then went straight out again, so I assume it's flat. But yeah, little Bluetooth speaker. I'll charge that one up and we'll see how it works in a minute. There was also these, there's a little charger here which I think suits that iPod clock radio. And we have some little earbuds, which I usually just chop the wires off these and throw it into data cable. So the only thing we do have left is this thing, which would be for an iPad, perhaps an iPhone as well. And it's got a little stand at the back here. Now I assume it's a clock, maybe not, maybe it's just a radio. And it was on. We'll have to charge that up as well. So I'll go and charge these things up. What was this? Oh, that was for that. No, this was, I don't know what this was for. Electrolux, 15 volt. So that may have been for a stick vacuum or something, which I don't have. But being an unusual voltage, I'll save this power supply. I might need it in the future. So I'll charge this up, I'll charge our Bluetooth speaker up, and that's it. I just got to clean some stuff and we'll go and have a look on the deck. But we'll see if these things work first. Okay, what have I found out about both these items? Well, disappointing. Both of them disappointing. This Philips is not a radio nor a clock. It's just purely a charging dock with a speaker. It was probably good in the day, but there's not so many Apple products around. I don't think new ones, well, it's been quite a while, I think, since Apple products used that big plug, so I don't know what era items they suit, to be honest, but there's going to be limited market for this just as a speaker and a charging dock. Probably more value to me is the charger itself. It's a 9-volt, but it's 2 amp, so it's a pretty good charger. I don't get a lot of 9-volt ones, and often they're quite low amperage. This one's pretty good. What I might do is I'll give it a go at $5 in the shop. If anyone has a use for this, $5 is going to be a bargain, but I would imagine most people won't be interested. I did have a look online and none were selling. I guess they're just not worth the postage. There were a few on there. If I don't get $5 for it, I'll give it a week or so. I'm then going to actually take the charger and hang on to the charger, because I would get $5 for that for a certain application. And I think I'll just throw this straight to Ewaste. It's not worth scrapping. There's only going to be a couple of speakers in it and maybe a very small board. So, or I could try and give it away, but then if someone's going to want it, they're going to want the charger, and I'd rather not give that away because it's a good power pack. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. We'll try the thing at $5 oh, was that broken or did it just fall out? Oh, that's the battery compartment. I didn't realise it had battery connections as well. Anyway, we'll give it a go in the shop for at least one weekend and try and get $5. If not, you know my plans. So there may be a bit of e-waste there down the track. This one was disappointing. JBL, when I first searched JBL Bluetooth speakers, I was quite astounded. Some of them are very expensive. Even secondhand, they were selling for quite a lot. I did a image search on this one because I can't see anywhere a model number. There's no model number. There's nothing written in the plastic. Even under here, it just has your inputs labelled. There is no model number, no serial number, no manufacturing details. The only thing it has is JBL on this badge here. So when I did a Google image search, I found some with the badge this way, but not this way, which seemed a bit weird. So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole of researching. There was a Reddit post that some guy had come up with the whole range of JBL Bluetooth speakers with pictures for each model. Couldn't find this exact one. Some were very similar. So I was at a bit of a loss there. So what I did was I charged it up, and it does actually work. Let's power it on.
Bluetooth mode.
There we go. And I connected my phone to it. And when my phone connected, the Bluetooth said, what was it, TG33 or something? I forget the exact number. I Googled that, and that's actually a cheap copy of a JBL Bluetooth speaker. So cheap that you could buy them brand new for about $20, I think, on AliExpress with free postage, maybe even on eBay. I don't remember. I found once I had that number, which is not written anywhere here, it only showed up with the Bluetooth connection on my phone. And I think a lot of them come out when I searched the image for them. A lot of them are absolutely identical, except that says T&G, I think, on the badge. So this is outright fraud. It is not made by JBL. It works, but it's a very cheap copy, capitalizing on the look. And you know, some companies make similar looking products to try and piggyback on sales of good quality brands. This company goes a step further and blatantly lies by putting a JBL badge on it. So rather shocking. I don't know why companies don't get prosecuted for that sort of behavior. Anyway, what am I going to do with it? Well, it works. I had my phone connected to it. The sound's actually not that bad. It actually pumps out fairly good volume. The sound is pretty reasonable quality. It would certainly suit someone that wants a cheap Bluetooth speaker. So I'm going to sell it. but I will be pointing out to whoever buys it that it's not actually a JBL. Maybe I could flick the badge off, but that's probably a little bit too extreme. I think as long as I alert someone that they are just buying a cheap Bluetooth speaker, and I'm only going to put $10 on it. And it just charges from a standard sized charger, so I don't have to include one with it because most people have got those. So there we go. It's amazing what you learn when you start doing a bit of research. Had I seen one of these at a garage sale and did a quick search on JBL, I probably would have bought it thinking I could make a good profit. So yeah, just be aware. There's fakes everywhere. Anyway, we should be able to get $10 for it. It did charge up fine. And with this other thing I was just talking about too, it has these kind of wetsuit material type Velcro enclosed covers. They're actually pretty good quality. I'll give these to Christine to see if she has either a use for them or may want to copy them for something to make out of her upholstery fabrics. We'll see how we go. If she doesn't want them, that's fine. I'll put them both in the free box at the shop, and I'm sure someone would love these for a certain something. Someone will have an idea that they'll think, because they're quite well cushioned. There's no sense giving it away with this thing because I don't think we're going to get any takers on this thing, but someone may have a use for those. So there we go. That deals with everything except I forgot this thing that we pulled out of the box right at the start. And if I had have read further, I guessed it might have been some sort of baby monitor, but it actually says it's a bedwetting alarm. I did a quick check on these, and they're they're pretty expensive. They're well over $100. And it's just basically a couple of sensors. There's 1, 2, 3 sensors. And this is just basically an alarm and flashing lights and a buzzer, I think. And it's just designed to put on the arm of your child, not a baby, but a child that's having bedwetting problems. And you just clip these clips to their clothing. And I think if I actually plug one of them in, it just runs off a little battery. And the battery's obviously still good because when these aren't clipped to clothing, they actually connect. So that's connected now. And the alarm does that flashing light and a buzz and an alarm. So I think the idea is to condition your child when bedwetting happens, that an alarm goes off and their brain makes some sort of association with don't do it because it'll wake me up and something. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've had anything to do with kids having bedwetting problems, but these were pretty expensive. This one appears to be in really good condition. May have only been used once, may have never been used. And I'm just going to put $10 on it. Someone will, no doubt, when they know what it is or have a need for one, they should recognise with a quick Google that they're getting a bargain, and it should have some use. So there we go. We'll put that back in the box. Don't need to clean that one up. It's as good as new. Those items don't need cleaning up either. So we've finished all our jobs on the workshop bench. Let's go and have a look on the deck. And this week's collection looks like this, all cleaned up. The microwave, I was thinking I'm going to actually try $20 on it, even though it's a bit rusty and rough inside, because I get such good value out of those. I'll get $10 for the glass plate. I get $5 for the transformer. This is on average. I get $5 each for the magnetron magnets, so that adds up to a fair bit. Admittedly, I have to scrap it out, but I'll probably keep a few parts too, like the high voltage fuse and that sort of stuff, because I know it all works, maybe even some door switches. So I'm not going to give it away at 10. I'll try 20. If it's still at the shop after a couple of weeks, I will scrap it, but someone may love it for their workshop for $20. All the clock radios cleaned up nicely. Everything else, well, not much else needed to clean. We didn't have to clean the blender. That's got a home already. We'll give that sunbeam fry pan a couple of weeks in the shop. Otherwise, I'll scrap that, but I think that'll probably sell. A little bit of aluminium for scrap. And up on the other bench here, we have all our goodies to sell that I acquired out of their scrap bins or I purchased out of the shop, plus that charger, which I'll hang on to. I did check with Christine on these pouches. She said, no way, I've got way too much work to do at the moment. But she said, it is good material, but not really big enough to repurpose for much at the moment. So I'll just take them to the shop and give them away. Someone will have a use for them. A little bit of e-waste from the earphones. We chopped the wire off. And that's it for this week. Nothing going to the tip, certainly no rubbish. And at this stage, nothing actually going to the tip or the transfer station as e-waste either. We should be able to rehome it all. And the notepad looks like this, with the prices mentioned, and of course the blender doesn't return anything because it's staying within the family. We ended up with a potential of $95 back on the electrical stuff, and particularly well from the stuff we rescued from the bins and one purchase. So 70 there, 95, potentially $165 this week, and nothing going into the rubbish, and only a couple of little plugs and things going to e-waste at this stage. So that's pretty good. Very successful week. Just looking back to last week, and I have something to mention. We've sold one of the air fryers. Nothing else has gone as yet. But the retro genie bottle or the 1970s Italian decorative bottle, and I'll put a picture of it here. You'll notice now it has the stopper. I got a call from one of the op shop workers, Carolyn, and her husband Kevin, and they said they found the stopper for me. They and some of the other ladies do watch my channel, and they're quite pleased that I can save a lot of stuff. And with the top on it, I've actually priced it in the shop now at $195. It actually makes that much difference. Now, it's going to take a while for the right person to buy it, but they do sell for pretty big money to retro collectors. And if I do get that sort of money for it, or even close, I'll kick in a bit of a donation to the charity shop, because they raise money for the local hall, and I'm more than happy to support that. And they were nice enough to ring me and tell me that the top was there, it just wasn't with the bottle. There we go, so that was good news. Still waiting to sell some of this other stuff. And the previous week we have sold a few things, as you can see. Not much left there, and anything previous to this, I think the part 35, there was one lamp to go, and everything earlier has been ruled off. So we're going really well in this series, saving a lot of stuff and rehoming it to grateful people. And likewise, I'm rehoming some money from those grateful people, which is good because I have to make a living. We have weeks sometimes when we do really well financially. Other weeks with this, I actually run at a big loss. I make a little bit out of the YouTube videos, which is very helpful, so thank you guys for that. But I'm really getting so much satisfaction from saving a big pile of stuff to keep it in circulation, not going into the waste stream. Would have been really interesting to actually weigh up everything I've saved since I started this, and then once a year say, well, last year we saved 10 tonne of electricals. Who knows? It's a bit late to do that now, and it would just add another job, but it would be pretty cool to know that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.